Ghost of Yotei is shaping up to be an incredible follow-up to Ghost of Tsushima. It may share the same DNA of Sucker Punch's previous masterpiece, but this is a very different kind of ghost story. From its ruthless protagonist to its reimagined combat, Ghost of Yotei is carving its own path. So today, let's break down 12 big differences between Ghost of Yotei and Ghost of Tsushima that make this new title feel genuinely exciting. In Ghost of Yotei, Atsu is not a samurai, she is a mercenary ghost. Unlike Jin Sakai, whose internal conflict revolved around honor and duty, Atsu is driven by something darker: vengeance. She's not a samurai, she's not a ninja, she's a lone wolf mercenary who will do whatever it takes to win, using dirty tricks and ruthless precision. Locals even believe she's become an Onryo, a wrathful ghost from Japanese folklore. Where Jin was trying to uphold or bend tradition, Atsu exists outside of it entirely. That change in tone sets the stage for a very different journey. Atsu doesn't care if she lives or dies so long as the Yotei 6, the murderers of her family, are brought to justice. Her myth grows with each kill, and as her bounty rises, deadlier enemies come hunting. This is a revenge story first and foremost, and that message drives the entire game. Ghost of Yotei has both a new setting and a new time period. Ghost of Yotei picks up the torch more than 300 years after the events of Jin Sakai's journey in Ghost of Tsushima, shifting the story to 1603 at the dawn of the Edo period. It was a time marked by peace but also by rigid social order and growing isolation, a world where danger no longer came from just war but from within. This isn't the feudal Japan of warring clans, it's colder, quieter, and more controlled, and it's in that silence that Atsu's ghostly vengeance awakens. The setting shifts north to the lands surrounding Mount Yotei, in an area now known as Hokkaido. According to the PlayStation blog, Etso is wild and as deadly as it is beautiful. Golden fields sway beside snowy valleys, and icy tundras stretch towards the horizon. You'll encounter peaceful reprieves and sudden ambushes, with the freedom to make camp anywhere under the stars. It's a world shaped by nature and solitude and the perfect setting for Atsu's story. Shuhei Yoshida, a longtime PlayStation visionary, has praised Ghost of Yotei for both its ambition and cultural sensitivity. Like with Tsushima, Sucker Punch worked with Japanese consultants and studio partners to ensure authenticity. In contrast to games like Assassin's Creed Shadows, which have drawn criticism for their representation of Japanese culture, Sucker Punch continues to earn respect through immersion, care, and artistry. Ghost of Yotei isn't just a sequel, it's a reimagining of time, place, and purpose. In Ghost of Tsushima, combat was built around switching stances to match enemy weapon types. Ghost of Yotei throws out that system and replaces it with something a little more visceral: real-time weapon swapping. Instead of holding a stance, you change your actual weapon, from katana to kasarigama to spear or odachi depending on the situation. Each weapon is designed to counter a different kind of threat. Dual swords are most effective against spear wielders. The massive odachi works best against towering brutes. It isn't just a cosmetic difference, you'll be constantly adjusting your loadout mid-fight to stay alive. Ghost of Yotei also introduces a clue-based exploration system that hands full control over to you, replacing traditional markers with a more immersive narrative-driven approach. After you defeat and interrogate enemies, you can choose what topic to pursue, each one acting as a lead to a new region, new enemies, and new gameplay opportunities. For example, asking about the Onai might lead you to the Ishikara Plain, a scorched and hostile landscape populated by brutal samurai, where you'll unlock the Yari, a spear, and learn new combat techniques. Prefer stealth? Well, you can ask about the Kitsune, and you'll be led to the snowy Toshio Ridge, where ninja-like enemies wait to ambush you. Surviving that region not only gives you the Kasurigama, but also opens up access to shinobi-inspired tactics. These interactions are tracked through a card system, not in a roguelike deck-building sense, but as a collectible leads that reflect your ongoing investigation. Each card represents a path you can follow or ignore, reinforcing the idea that the story unfolds through your curiosity, not a predetermined checklist. And while you can pursue the Yotei 6 in any order, there's plenty of incentive to go off script. The clue cards tease new weapons like the Scorch Bomb, and even if you're focused on the narrative, it pays to stray from the path and discover new upgrades, tactics, and regions. It's the most player freedom Sucker Punch has ever offered, and it's built entirely around how you choose to explore. One of the standout additions in Ghost of Yotei is Atsu's mysterious wolf companion. Far from a passive presence, the wolf fights alongside you in standoffs, and appears to be able to be upgraded with its own skill tree, growing alongside you in your journey. It plays an active role in Atsu's story and is a living extension of her persona. Beyond that, you'll also recruit human allies that form your wolf pack. a growing band of allies who support Atsu on her journey. These aren't just quest givers or background characters, they're integrated into the game's world and progression system. Dynamic camps are one way that Ghost of Yotei is replacing traditional menus. In Ghost of Yotei, your campsite is a living hub where the world comes to you. Vendors, quest givers, and your sensei visit camp under the stars, offering gear, skills, and new dialogue. This is where your wolf pack will actually come to you. Rather than pausing the game to scroll through the menus, you sit by the fire, play your shamisen, cook a meal, and get ready for the next fight. It's immersive, personal, and perfectly in tune with the game's tone. It feels less like you're managing a loadout and more like you're living in the world. Some, like Taro the Scavenger or Hana the Kunai Artisan, regularly visit Atsu's camp with new gear, upgrades, or tasks. Others, like Master Inamoto, offer specialized training, such as Kusarigama techniques, but require you to travel to their dojo to progress. Even Yumi the Bower might drop by with new ranged equipment, though you'll need to pay up. This evolving camp system replaces the traditional journal tab, keeping track of what each ally offers and what you should do next, creating a living, breathing network of support and story. The world of Ghost of Yotei responds to Atsu's presence in ways that go beyond combat. As her legend spreads and the bounty on her head grows, some towns and villages become openly hostile. But Atsu isn't just being hunted, she's also the hunter. Across Ezo, optional bounty targets offer lucrative rewards and intense, character-rich encounters. There's Black Powder Epee, who fights with a handheld cannon and brutal two-handed axe, and Crow Genzo, or Jinzo, a katana and spear-wielding killer who haunts a crow-infested cemetery, a setting made even more unsettling once you discover how he treats his victims. Then there's Smiling Yoshimoto, teased as a far more sinister predator who waits at lantern-lit campsites, possibly luring unsuspecting travelers into a deadly trap. These bounties aren't just boss fights, they're atmospheric stories that deepen the world and reflect its dangers. Combat in Ghost of Yotei is dangerous and unpredictable. If you mistime your defense against a yellow glint attack, Atsu can actually lose her weapon entirely. But if you execute a perfect disarm counter, you can steal an enemy's weapon and turn the tables, just like we've seen in this spear clip. This introduces a real set of vulnerability. You're not just mastering patterns, you're adapting to chaos in real time. And it makes every duel feel more authentic and reinforces Atsu's survival mentality. Ghost of Yotei will offer multiple special gameplay modes. Ghost of Tsushima's Kurosawa mode was a powerful tribute to classic samurai cinema, and Ghost of Yotei not only brings it back, it builds on the concept in bold new ways. It still offers its signature black and white visuals, film grain, dramatic wind effects, and audio filters that evoke the atmosphere of legendary Japanese cinema. You can also choose between English voice acting or Japanese voice acting with full lip syncing and subtitles. But where Tsushima stopped at homage, Yotei dives deeper, giving you more ways to experience its world through a cinematic lens. Enter Miike mode and Watanabe mode, two stylistic overlays that dramatically change the game's tone. Miike mode, inspired by the raw, violent films of Takashi Miike, brings the camera in tight and adds a layer of grime, mud, and blood, making every encounter feel more personal and brutal. On the other hand, Watanabe mode adds an unexpected twist, a lo-fi hip-hop soundtrack that plays during exploration and combat, evoking the chill, genre-blending vibe of Samurai Champloo. These modes aren't just filters, they transform the game's entire mood, giving you the freedom to tailor your experience not only through gameplay, but through aesthetic and emotional atmosphere as well. In Tsushima, foxes guided you to Inari shrines. In Yotei, golden birds lead you to altars of reflection. These altars unlock new abilities, deepening Atsu's skill set. Instead of gaining power through tradition and worship, you gain it through personal reflection and spiritual awakening, fitting Atsu's ghostly, grief-fueled journey. The skill tree in Ghost of Yotei is divided into categories like Core, Onryo, Melee, Revenge, and Wolf. The naming alone tells you what kind of story this is. It's not about honor or legacy, it's about survival, retribution, and the animal instinct to strike back. These skill tabs represent not just combat tools, but themes. You're shaping a character that's part ghost, part warrior, and part predator. Outside of bloodshed, Ghost of Yotei invites you to engage with the land through quieter, more personal interactions. Atsu can stop and sketch the scenery, capturing the world's beauty that she sees along her journey. There are also many games that reflect the culture and daily life of Etso, like the coin flicking game that we saw in the deep dive, and of course those returning activities such as bamboo chopping and hot springs. Ghost of Yotei may feel familiar in some ways. It does share the DNA of Ghost of Tsushima after all, but make no mistake, mistake, this is more than just a reskin, and sometimes more of a great thing is always welcome in my eyes. If you're looking forward to Ghost of Yotei, then be sure and check out my recent video on the best upcoming PS5 games still to come in 2025 and 2026. There's some truly incredible stuff on the horizon, and Ghost of Yotei is just the beginning, even though it may be one of the best. I'm really looking forward to it. Be sure and check it out, and as always, let me know what you're most excited for in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.